Is doom scrolling a bad thing? That was the question my brother asked me when he and I had a conversation. So me and my elder brother especially like to have all this, weird success conversation. And that. It's usually just fun to do. Like that's the type of shit we'd rather talk about. Well, basically, my brother asked me like we're talking. He was, giving his insights. I'll give my own insights on that. Then my brother asked me like, is doom scrolling necessarily like is this a bad thing? And I thought about that for a while, and the answer is like, yes, it is, by default, you shouldn't be like watching garbage on the internet. But at the same time, no, not really. If you think about it, it's just like videos. They're like just, stupid videos on the internet. Like watching memes and all this, garbage, brain rots. So it's like, isn't that just really a bad thing? It's like, not really. But at the same time, it is because, it's not good for you. Then he asked another question, which is like, is video games a bad thing? And that one too, the answer is similar. Like, yes, in the sense that, if you play video games, you're a loser and all that. But at the same time, no, not really. Because it is not bad per se, you're like, yeah, playing the game, having fun. You're not really doing anything bad. So the conclusion we just came to, is like, all these vices, they're not necessarily bad. It depends on the context and the perspective. Another example we'll give again is drinking alcohol, a bad thing. Objectively, yes, it makes you or it kills you. But if maybe you drink every once in like prayer, maybe you go for some party, right? And maybe you rarely go to party, so you go to some random party, you go and drink. Will you necessarily call out a bad thing if maybe the last time you drank was like maybe 6 months ago, for example, or maybe 1 or 2 months ago? Can you necessarily call out a bad thing? Or maybe you go for some dates and you want to get a drink like wine or something like that. Can you necessarily call out a bad thing? No, not really. Or, like it's most of the times, what I notice is like most of these things just depends on the context. Like, if, for example, like the party example I give, you go, once every 6 months, just, randomly, not occasionally. Obviously, like maybe drinking alcohol or smoking that day or whatever, it might not even necessarily, so some maybe it might even be a good thing because it will actually give you like a nice experience to remember that time you got stupid high or that time you drank too much or something like that. But if you go to parties like every single weekend, last week you went, Sunday is coming again, Saturday you're planning on going, at that point then yes, it's actually a bad thing because it's causing you more harm than good. And same thing with video games. Maybe the last time I played video games was like when your boys were around. All the boys came around, if you were here and you guys sat down to play. Obviously, like I don't think to me that was like a good thing because you guys had fun. You guys had like a bonding experience. But the last time you played was literally like this afternoon, and it's night time. And you're about to play again. It's like at that point, it's like it's stupid. Same thing with the movies. If or brain rot, just entertainment, mindless entertainment. If the last time you watched, the mindless entertainment stuff was maybe like, let's say 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, when you go back from work, you're just very tired, just wanted to unwind, so you watch this garbage. And now it's like maybe 2 weeks later, 1 month later, I watch it. We won't necessarily call it a bad thing, but if the last time you watched it was like this, maybe just an hour ago, you're about to watch it again, then at that point it's like, it's just bad. So it's like, a lot of these things just depends on the context. Like, what I can, maybe a vice I can do and get away with might not be one you can do and get away with. That makes sense. Like, for example, I rarely go to parties. I don't really drink. I've never even drunk. Maybe I've drunk once, but like I'm basically not in that type of life. But if obviously to me to some degree it's a waste of time. But if for whatever reason I choose to go to some parties today and drink my life away, get wasted and all that, I don't think to me that would be a bad thing. To me, I actually feel like it would be more of a good thing because I actually have more fun stories to tell from that. But if you are someone that you go to parties often, then it will be more of like a bad thing for you because you basically did this like a few days ago. So it's like it doesn't make sense. I did this like what? Last time I went to some party and the time was like what 3 years ago now. So I didn't really drink, but I just tasted it and I was like, I can't drink this shit. So it's just all perspective. Like, it's all perspective. Same thing with the video games. Like, if sometimes I watch some of these entrepreneurial videos and you've seen their big fancy apartment, they have like a PlayStation there. we don't necessarily call those guys like unproductive, lazy, or whatever. But if it's just, like you, there's a broken in your house sitting down playing video games, then it's actually like a bad thing. So the conclusion at the end of the day is like obviously perspective and context, but the bigger picture is like it all depends on the individual, because as an individual, like you're the only one that knows what is good for you. You're the only one that knows the season that is good for you. Like I'm the only one that knows if playing video games right now is a good use of my time. I'm the only one that knows if going for some random parties is a good use of my time. I'm the only one that knows if watching some movie or mindless entertainment is a good use of my time, and vice versa. Yeah, and I also know if it's not. So I feel like it depends on like the context, and not even just the context and the season. Exactly, the season you're in your life. Because if you're in a season where you can do like, maybe for example you just made like some big money, or the good one I like to use is some holiday. So maybe like you go for some holiday, like maybe your friend is getting married, for example, so you guys travel for 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. It's just some holiday. I say 3 or 4 days, maybe 1 week. For that 1 week, if you're maybe drinking alcohol or just sitting around or smoking or like whatever, obviously bad for you could argue, but it's like it makes the experience good. Like that season, that week, that 4 days is like a good thing. But if there's no special events like that, it's just like an everyday thing, at that point it's kind of like stupid, it's kind of bad for you. So at the end of the day, it's usually just like it all just depends on the individual and the season you're in. Like it depends on you. If the season you're in is like a building season, like you're trying to get serious and all that, it's like you're the one that will know is watching all these brain rots good for me or bad for me. You're the one that will know is playing all these video games good for me or bad for me. You're the one that will know is going to all these parties or drinking all this alcohol or smoking all this weed or whatever, is it good for me or bad for me. So like you're the one that will know. So I just feel like it depends on the context and the season. Like if some random party you go for, the last time I went was like 3 years ago, and maybe for example now you have become like successful, you are trying to celebrate making $1 million, for example. Going for a party there, will you necessarily call it a party? To me, not really. But at the end of the day, it's all just, it depends on you. So you just have to realize what season you're in, and what needs to be done in that season that you're in.
By the way, if you're in a rut now and you're finding it difficult to get back on your feet and get back in the grind and get back to the flow of things, I've actually created a program that is going to help you do just that. If you're interested in that, if this is a problem you're facing and you actually need a solution, just click the first link in the description of this video.